going on, guys? K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great day today. Now, I wanted to make a bit of a shorter video, a quicker update. I wanted to go into the charts because Bitcoin is crashing and the world is falling apart and everybody's freaking out right now as Bitcoin has fallen over 26%. So what is going on? There's some fears that this has to do with a lot of different things. The ETF inflows have slowed down. We have the FOMC meeting and now it doesn't look like they're going to be cutting any rates anytime soon. Then there's also fears of stagflation. You have CZ getting sentenced to 4 months in, prison, which, 4, hey, that's not bad considering they were looking to put him away for like 3 years, right? And then on top of that, we also have Roger Ver, Bitcoin Jesus. Now the IRS is after him, and he obviously renounced his U.S. citizenship. So why is the IRS going after him? Well, it turns out that he owes $50 million in Bitcoin taxes that had been sold, but the problem is they were through U.S. companies. So I don't know if that's what's adding to it, but to be quite honest with you, likely that's not really what's causing this. A lot of people, they look for answers as to why things are crashing or why things are pumping. But at the end of the day, sometimes the solution is actually a lot more simple than that. So again, talking about the FOMC, what are the 3 possible outcomes? Well, I believe if they hike rates, which would be crazy, then yeah, you're probably going to see some red in the markets. That is not going to be good. If they keep it neutral, then I think that the markets are just going to do what they were going to do anyway. So if the markets are falling, they're probably just going to keep falling until they level out. And then obviously if they were to miraculously cut rates, then I think you'd see a pump or something like that. So yeah, I mean, there's more neutral to bearish, pressure right now on the markets, but let's dive in and let's have a look. And I know I sound like a broken record. We've been going over these levels for quite some time on the channel, but let's dive in. Let's have a look again. And this is exactly what I see going on. So if you like these quicker updates, drop a like. It helps to spread the, the word. But again, I don't want to like toot my own horn, guys, but we've been saying this, and honestly, if you've been following our channel, we've been outpacing a lot of the other popular analysts, and I try to be as humble as possible about this, but, anyone watching right now should not be shocked that this is what's happening. So let's dive in. Let's have a look. So if we have a look at what Bitcoin is basically doing right now, we were in this range right here, right? We were bouncing between around $61,000 to roughly $72,000. And this was a big deciding factor in what Bitcoin might end up doing. Obviously, breaking to the upside would have been continuation. But if you've been following the channel for the past few weeks, we have been on the cautious side. And we've been saying that there is this possibility of this area of 55 to 57,000. I was going to post a bunch of clips of me talking, but really, if you've just been watching the channel, go back, watch the analysis, and anybody watching this should not be shocked at all that we're seeing this price action for Bitcoin. We've actually been expecting this, and there is this upward sloping parallel trend where we were looking to catch that support. So we said we could even come down to around 55,000. We haven't quite hit there yet, but there is a reason that the area that we're stopping out right now is very significant. But I can understand, we have been used to multiple 20% plus breakdowns in this upwards trend, right? And like Rec Capital pointed out, we had a 23, a 21, a 22, a 21, and 18, but this one is pushing on around 24%. So this is technically our largest pullback yet. Now, we've also been saying that we haven't experienced any type of a 30% pullback yet in this particular bull run, and that is also very common to see for Bitcoin in the past, right? But here's the really interesting thing, right? While everyone else is scared, like Vivek pointed out, somebody, we don't know who, literally just bought $68 million worth of Bitcoin in this dip. And before I get to the charts, this is what I was trying to point out. When we're looking at this price action, what you're seeing is while everyone else is panicking, these are whale wallet addresses, and if we zoom in here, these guys are accumulating massively at these levels, right? So they're basically buying into the fear, and they are purchasing Bitcoin while everyone else is, panic selling or maybe walking away. That could be a possibility. So let's dive in and let's have a look super quick. So the reason could be possibly, the fact that the S&P has had its first red candle. This is on the monthly in about 5 months. So, that is obviously affecting Bitcoin's price. And we're starting off in a red area as well. This is due to all of the uncertainties that I said in the original intro of this video. But as you guys can see right here, did get a little bit of a miniature long alert, obviously, because what we're seeing is, and this has not changed, I have kept this trend line literally since we started putting in down here. You could see that ultimately this is a downtrend within an uptrend, right? And currently we are hitting the bottom of that trend. If you want to flip it into the log, you could say maybe we have a little bit more to go. Maybe now we're, if the log trend, you could say maybe we have to come down to around that 56K area. If you flip it more on the shorter trend, then you could say we've already technically hit that. But regardless, guys, at the end of the day, this still maintains constructive upwards price action. And one of the most important levels that we had spoke about was on these moving averages. Pay attention right here to this green 21 exponential moving average. And as you can see, when the bull market starts to begin, you have a lot of interactions with those areas, right? And then eventually, once you get to the, mania parabolic phase, you don't even come down and touch it. Well, we're still not really in the full-on euphoria. You could say maybe we were starting to enter the mania phase, but that puts us somewhere down here, somewhere similar to October of 2020. And I mean, if you guys literally wanted to just blindly take this trade based on the level, you could pretty much see that that is exactly where we're touching. So right here, we didn't even get a touch back in January of the beginning of the year. And currently we're holding on that area, right? The next moving average would be the 50 down by, all the way down around 40,000. But I think, again, a lot of people expecting that immediately. The bears are out here celebrating because they got a 25% pullback. But, from bottom to top, guys, even at the current level that we're at right now, Bitcoin is still up 267%. So being up 267% and celebrating a 25% kind of seems ridiculous to me. So I guess the bears can have their day, but ultimately this is still a constructive uptrend. And honestly, if you were looking to long or you had some buy orders set in this area, obviously I wouldn't recommend going higher leverage, but realistically, if you were to do about a 3x leverage, what, you think it's going to fall 33%? I mean, that would put Bitcoin at around $37,000. Personally, I'm not seeing that happening, but hey, everyone's bearish, so maybe all of a sudden now we are going to go to 30K. I highly doubt that, but again, guys, if you were looking to put in a trade, that would have been the opportunity. And also, don't forget, guys, LevX is offering a $5,000 bonus. They will match your trade, and if you use my link in the description, I have it set up so that you guys will get 10% cash back. So for every trade you make, you will get 10% cash back on your USDT. So just throwing that out there, guys. Also exclusive content if you use the description below. And there is $3,500 on Blowfin. Again, I'm just pointing this out because, anyone who's been trading knew that this level was coming. We've been calling for this area for a while. One of our main reasons that we knew there was that possibility was once we had rejection at the 4.236 of the previous cycle, right? We knew that there was a possibility of retesting the 0.786. Let me make this a little less complicated. Maybe that's a little cleaner for you guys. You can kind of see. So these are the levels that we're looking at. So the next level is down around 48,000. Now, do I think we're going to go to 48,000? Well, there's a possibility. I wouldn't be surprised to see some kind of a consolidation around this area. But, again, could you have a fake out bounce up to this area, break down to the 48? Yeah, I think you could, because if you look at that, that's where we had this wick right here when we had the buy the rumors, sell the news on the ETF launch. But personally, the same way that we had massive sell-off here, I think you'd have massive buying there as well. So if you're waiting for Bitcoin at 48,000, you can put a buy order down. Maybe you want to front run it. Maybe do like 49,300 or something of that area, maybe 50,000. But really, I think it would be bought up quite quick, and I think we would find ourselves dancing around that area. You can see there's really only 3 levels of interest right here. There's a lot of interest specifically between the 47 to $52,000 area. But the reason that I had said I did not think that this sell-off was over is because we did not see the stochastic RSI begin to curve, giving us that confirmation. And this isn't some kind of like magic voodoo stuff I'm coming up with. It's just, you could see right here, I guess I could draw these vertical lines, right here. You could see as soon as we started to cross over, that's when the price started to level out after this big sell-off. I'll just move it over here. This was the next, right? What did we do? We pumped. Of course, we went sideways, but my point is that downtrend was over. And then again here, we had the crossover, and that's where we started to build that base. And the same thing happened right here, right? We had this major sell-off, this 20% crash from the buy the rumors, sell the news ETF, and we started to move to the upside. So, we haven't really had that yet. So does that mean that there still is that possibility? to come down here. Again, waiting for the confirmation on the stochastic RSI, and this might be scary for you guys, but I've been telling you that 30% pullbacks are absolutely normal and healthy in these bull markets. And even if we had something like this where we had this rejection, came back down, and maybe didn't end up touching 48 until sometime in June, this is still constructive price action, right? We're still moving to the upside. We're still ultimately putting in higher lows and ultimately putting in higher highs, right? So until that structure breaks, then I wouldn't really be panicking. Now, for people who are calling for, 30,000 or lower, that to me is ridiculous, because that breaks us completely out of this structure. That would put us even lower than this consolidation down here. And, just to kind of go back here, just to throw it out here. Okay, the markets already went from the $69,000 area. We had that correction all the way down to 15,000, and we had massive consolidation in the $30,000 area. So it just does not seem very likely that after, holding down for 2 years, holding all the way back up for another year, and then holding all the way down, that then we're going to get to 30, and then everyone's going to panic sell. That just seems completely illogical. And the only way that I could see that really happening is if there was some extreme financial crisis. Maybe we do have something, like a black swan, or we go into a recession, or stagflation is worse than we thought. But really, other than that, looking again at this moving average, I actually changed this from pink to blue because the pink was kind of hard to see with the red. And as you can see right here, we tend to get these consolidations, and oftentimes in the beginning of these bull runs, we tend to use it as support, and sometimes we even dip below it. It's okay. It's not a science. Like, for example, here we dipped below it a few times, but ultimately, that level's sitting at around 57,690, and as at the time of making this video, we're around 57,250. So we could wick below this, right? It's only the middle of the week, but you could see that this area is of a lot of interest, and I think this is why you're seeing the whales accumulating at the rate that they are. The other thing you could point out is that the US dollar, the DXY index, right, is actually having a bit of resistance here. So yes, this week in particular, it has had a nice green candle, right? But if it doesn't break and hold above here, then the most logical outcome is to continue breaking down again. And going back to what I was saying in my previous video, at some point, they are going to turn the money printers back on. I mean, technically they're on right now, but you know what I mean? Like full force on. Eventually, we're going to get the rate cuts, right? I don't know if we're going to get any this year or how many we're going to get, but I just know that they have the option of either essentially breaking the economy, and that's one for the conspiracy theorists, or, maybe just staying a little bit hawkish longer than usual. But again, looking at the Bitcoin Power Law, we are exactly technically where we should be in the mid-range, and at no point in Bitcoin's history, even in this double top, which Bitcoin had never experienced before, did we ever not break above it. Even here when we had this mid-cycle rally up to 14 and then we crashed all the way back down to 3, we still broke above that power law. And the thing is we've been sitting below this really ever since May of 2022. So generally speaking, once you break above these levels, right, that is when you start to see the real massive outflows. So again, guys, this was an expected move. This is really nothing crazy. We've been talking about this on the channel. The views on the channel have been dropping. We were getting around 60,000. Now we're only getting around 30,000. So again, this is what happens. Price goes down. People freak out. They don't want to watch the content. They don't want to buy. They're scared to buy in this area. And then, next thing you know, Bitcoin grinds back and we're back at those levels again. And just friendly reminder, guys, obviously the meta signals is still live, and we are literally 30 now away from the price increase. And for anyone that doesn't understand what you get with that, there is eventually, just so you guys know, a lot of people have been asking for this, an automated copy trade, which is coming. So a lot of people, they're like, well, it's hard to be by my computer all the time. It's hard to always be able to just buy and sell. Well, Q3 this year, we will be launching automatic copy trading. So you can pretty much just do that. There is going to be a 2% performance fee, but obviously that's only on the winners. No one's going to charge you if it's a losing trade, obviously. So that will be rolling out. And if you guys get the NFTs, you will get lifetime access for all of these future editions. So if you managed to stay all the way to the end of the video, there's two main things that I wanted to emphasize. Number one, this is not me calling a top or saying that we've hit the ultimate top and that's it, and now we're entering a multi-year bear market. No, in fact, I don't think that's the case at all. I think if we do, just to clarify again, if we do get down to somewhere in the high 40s or whatever, I think that's going to get bought up very quickly, and we could have that consolidation in the $50,000 range before I do personally believe that we are going to continue moving to the upside. Also, the second thing that I wanted to kind of point out is I do talk to a lot of people in the industry, and I speak to Bitcoin miners. Now, I'm not going to pretend like I know every major Bitcoin miner that there is, but I will say that the ones that I've spoke to said that, obviously when you have the halving, there is a little bit of a struggle financially, right? As the adjustment happens because, you're not making as much profits. So they are currently sort of selling to maintain the, to maintain the ability essentially to keep mining. So a lot of the guys that I spoke to were telling me that they would be comfortable selling sort of down into the $50,000 area, where around then they would then look to start accumulating Bitcoin again. So that's what the Bitcoin miners are saying, or at least the ones I've talked to. And obviously, miners have sort of a big influence, right? I mean, they make a lot of Bitcoin, right? They mine a lot of Bitcoin, so they can sell a lot of Bitcoin. So that's something else to consider. But at the end of the day, guys, I only see this as an opportunity moving forward. And as soon as we have this consolidation, this isn't something that is going to happen tomorrow, maybe not even next month. But I do imagine that as we go through the summer, into the end of the year, you are going to see that grind back up to all-time highs. And then again, everyone's going to be like, Bitcoin's back at 70,000. Should I buy now? And it's like, well, it went down to 55 or maybe 50, or maybe we get that 48 and now everyone is scared to buy. So, guys, at the end of the day, you want to basically buy, obviously, when it's, red, and sell when it's green. In fact, I wasn't going to do this, but shout out to Kevin Svensson. I just want to throw this at the end of the video. I love this little AI clip he made.
You must flip your view on the market upside down. The moment that you are most afraid, and the moment that you want to click the sell button the most, is usually the best buy opportunity. And, to the opposite effect, the moment that you are most pleased with your gains, the moment that you want to FOMO click the buy button, or the moment that you want to brag to your friends and family about how much you've made in the market, is usually the best sell opportunity. Reverse your mindset. The human mind is designed for immediate survival. If you want to stay alive, control your emotions. When in doubt, zoom out. Buy red, sell green. Don't be the dip, buy the dip. Don't be the top, sell the top. You already know this information. Take control.
So that's it for me, guys. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. You rock. You're the reason that I make these videos. I hope you understand that I am not bearish, but I have been warning for about 3 weeks on this channel that we were looking for some of these lower levels, and we've already had our first targets hit. So, take this as an opportunity. Buy the dip. Don't buy the dip. Do whatever you want. You know what I'm doing, guys, at the end of the day. If you do want to learn how to trade, check out these tutorials popping up right here, right now. Take advantage of those bonuses below, guys, right now. Could be good opportunities, like I said, lower leveraged longs, maybe 3x. I wouldn't be going into the 5s or higher than that unless you have that risk tolerance. Again, Meta Signals is also available, but, that's basically all I'm saying, guys. So until next time, stay crypto, and of course, peace out.